Absolutely not. No, we're just going to do like a rough sketch. So what I'd like to do is just ignore half of it. Oops, okay, better make sure you can see it, right? So if we ignore the left half, and then we look at this as a line of symmetry right here. This is a part of a line of symmetry that's longer, but let's just look at part of it. So the shaded reflects over. This is a real rough sketch of it. You know, you could do it nicely with a ruler. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This point and this point, that's a perpendicular line. This point should be the same distance away as that is, so it's probably sort of like so. Now take this and reflect it over this line, because everything's a line of symmetry. So then this comes over here. That point moves to here, but that's the same as this one being reflected over this. And then this section is that section being reflected over that. I don't think you can make a whole circle out of it.
Oh.
I don't know though.
I thought it was just like, I don't know, I thought it was that thing reflecting over.
So you continued it?
Yeah, I continued it.
So once you have this much done, then what's on the right-hand side would reflect and become the left-hand side. If these are the two lines of reflection.
Yeah, but you could reflect it over a different line that goes through diagonally.
Okay, help me out. Let's call this point A. This little corner. If I reflected it this direction, we could call it A prime. Okay, if you reflect A prime over the vertical line, where does it end up? Over to the left, and it goes there. If you reflect it back, it just goes here. Now what if I reflect it over the horizontal line, where does it end up? Up here.
But if you reflect over the diagonal line, then it'll...
Oh, but I think that the two lines that are kind of like the XY axis is what this, the vertical and the horizontal, I think those are the two lines of reflection. It says all lines drawn are symmetry lines. It doesn't say you can draw more symmetry lines. That's okay. That's a tough one to interpret. Look at this. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. So here's this line. What if it gets drawn over, let's label L. If you reflect this over L, which direction does it go?
Down.
What? So this becomes the line of reflection. Which way would you go with this segment if you're going to reflect it over L?
Down.
So in other words, ignore everything else.
Down.
So you want to go down?
Straight down. Straight.
Like this?
No. No. Like straight.
Yeah, because that's not on L.
Straight down.
Go
Straight.
Like this?
Yeah.
Oh.
Keep it going
Because-
at the angle that it's already set. Yeah, just keep it. Just draw a
What's
straight
this,
line.
what is this angle here that this segment is to L?
90.
It's 90. So it's going to stick straight out. And then if you reflect over that line, then you would get something that would look like this. This would reflect over this. This is a tough one. And then if you took this and reflected over this one, it's going to go like so. And then if this,
That's on the same angle as it is.
no?
Yeah,
Well,
that's
this
a
is
straight
the,
line.
that's the straight and it's not the same as the other one.
Oh, is that a 90? So you guys have a straight edge?
Yes.
You have a pencil?
Yeah.
Use the straight and the
Oh.
all symmetrical and there's all pencils.
You wanna explain that?
He's doing every answer. He's doing
Yeah, I like your work better than my work. My work's not good. Ooh. So this was the original. Do you mind if I mark on this with color? This was the original figure right here. So then I reflected over that, which then became this segment. This segment's at a 90-degree angle, so it reflects, becomes this.
Yeah, 'cause it's on the inside of the wall.
Yeah, that looks nice. A bunch of you did that, I see when I walked around. That looks good. How about the back side?
Wasn't that,
There it is. So were you able to graph this point?
yes.
Which quadrant is it in?
One.
1, 2, 3, or 4?
Two.
2, 3 over, 4 up. There's P. And then if P prime is the reflection image of P over the x-axis, so which direction will this move? Down. And how far below the x-axis should it go? 4 units. This distance has to equal this distance. So there's P prime. So then if you reflect this over the y, which direction will it move? Left? The other left. How far? 3 units to here, 3 units over.
It's just like
I labeled it wrong, but I got it all the right.
Good. That's great. So then it says that, oh, so this is supposed to be star. And then we're going to take that back over the x-axis. So which direction does P star go?
Up.
Same distance away. So then we end up way up there.
wait, aren't you supposed to do that on the one below?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know, I've just gotten down to D. So moving it, this is A, graphing the point, reflecting it over the X is letter B, reflecting it over the Y is letter C, and then letter D says to reflect it back up over the X.
Mr. Dagan,
Yes,
it doesn't really matter, but it says at the bottom, E is draw all those points that you're supposed to do on the square one. Not that one.
You're just supposed to graph the coordinates on B, C, and D.
You're just supposed to write them on the.
oh, you're only supposed to write these here?
Yeah.
And then on the bottom one for graph.
Okay. So then this, when we moved it over, became, what's this ordered pair? -3, -4. Okay, and then this point is 3, -4. And then that point is 3, 4. So, okay, so that's all supposed to be graphed on there. So if you reflect it over the x-axis, how does the ordered pair change?
Yeah, just symmetric.
You know what I do. So we started at -3, 4. And then we reflect over the x-axis. And the point, the point became -3, -4. So when we reflect over the x-axis, what happens to the ordered pair? The y becomes the opposite. And then when we reflect over the y-axis, go over here, which coordinate changes, the x or the y value? The x. So when you reflect over the y, the x changes. Because the x is measuring how far left and right, and you're reflecting it over a vertical line.
But then why is it, because the one before it is -3 and -4. What? The one they pushed.
So this is p, that's p prime, this is p star. When you flip it over the x-axis, the y value changes. When you flip it over the y-axis,
Is that like double prime or?
Double prime.
when you get to the double prime, then they wanted to go over, reflect over the x again.
Double prime.
So the p double prime, the last move,
So the y changes.
what am I doing?
Just the negative.
I missed a negative there, thanks. So here, to get to the double prime, then the y value changes because we went over the x. If you look on the graph, if you move from there to there, your x stays the same, but you went to a positive y from a negative y. You'll get to see that again. Let's stop there. Let's stop with this there, and let's go on to looking at what that leads us into. Watch what I'm going to draw on this. The first thing I'd like you to do is imagine if I just went from P to P prime. So I want to just, you don't have to write this, just look at it. I'm going to erase this information here, up there, my arcs. So this is the beginning point. This is the ending point. If you drew a straight line between those, where do you think it would go through?
The origin.
The origin. Yeah, if you draw a straight line, you might be able to see that. It goes to the origin. Now, if I was to draw, what do I do with the drawing compasses? Uh-oh. Oh, shoot. Where are they? Does anybody see a box of drawing compasses sitting around out and about? Yesterday it was water, today it's drawing compasses. You guys don't have drawing compasses, do you? That's a protractor.
Yeah, no, I don't.
Drawing compasses are fine.
Are they in the middle school? Or no?
Good guess.
You want me to check?
I'm tired of being down here. Yeah. I can't do anything without a drawing compass right now.
Where would they be if they were on there? Just out, right?
On the counter, yeah. Again, it's on the thing. Somebody said they had one. Thanks. You guys, maybe you all have one, huh? I hope not. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to draw a circle, a part of a circle. It connects P to P star. So there's part of a circle that's been drawn. How many degrees of the circle did I draw? 180. Okay. I'm going to bring in my protractor. Here's 90. So to go and change both the x and the y, 90, 180 degrees. So that's a rotation. So what we can do is on the coordinate plane, we can find a center point, and we can take another point, which is a distance from that center point, and we can just spin it all the way around. And then it becomes a rotation. Well, in this case here, reflecting over the x and the y turns into a 180-degree rotation. If you reflect over just the x, then it's half of that. But that kind of, more of that kind of work is going to come up later on. Take a look at
So is the answer
page.
to number 90 a circle?
Ooh. So if you put those four on the grid,
Would this be a rectangle?
yeah, I think this would end up being, I think they're saying if you connect these points
It's a
for
rectangle.
letter E, yeah, it'd be a rectangle. Yeah, so that would be a rectangle. This one's gonna be a triangle, and then they want you to reflect it over the y-axis, but I wanna leave that. I wanna just go into the rotations if we can. Hopefully the drawing compasses will come back. Take a look at page 374. Do you have tracing paper, or do you need more tracing paper? Need?
300?
374. If you need more tracing paper, come on up and get some, okay?
Oh, come back and grab one of these too.
So you're there.
We're on that for that thing.
Thanks. I'm not so bad. I don't know why I took them, but yesterday wasn't a very good. And that's what it was.
Not
You guys have your protractors?
No.
You need a protractor also.
I need a protractor.
And I'm a protractor.
And you can grab a drawing compass.
Thing is,
Protractors, there's paper ones over, oh, I'm sorry. Eventually we're gonna run out. We need a ruler or protractor.
You want to stop over
I
there?
don't think that one.
Why?
Is that live? Oh.
You haven't had to,
That is live. It says it up there.
because they lose them. Or they leave them in their lap.
Miranda's probably watching
Or
this.
they leave them in their.
Hi, Miranda.
Yeah, but there's no possibility.
And Camellia.
Hello, everyone.
And they don't do their work in their yeah, it's a constant.
Or they should have to have detention or something if they need to borrow more.
Why are these things so
I guess I could do that, but then who suffers?
Oh,
Who suffers if I do that?
You get to hang out with these awesome kids extra time, Mr. Dagan. It's no suffering.
Really, bring a protractor tomorrow, I'll give you detention.
what if we don't have a protractor to bring?
Everybody's been given one, and a ruler.
We're not gonna be here tomorrow.
Oh, okay, Friday.
Everyone's gonna show up in the morning. To bring it.
Okay, so you're on page 374. Here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to trace that activity number 1 flag. Put that on tracing paper. Use a straight edge for straight segments. So this one way down here on the bottom. Oops. So this guy right here.
I just learned that Arnold was misplaced color. Arnold, the kid with the red hair, curly red hair and glasses, that magic school bus. What? Yeah. Arnold was misplaced color.
You make sure you trace it so you have a little bit of room, right? We ran into that yesterday.
He's from the future. Under the Caribbean tattoo. Please be a normal school kid. It's free? No way.
And then mark this point A, which is down on the bottom right.
Save him. Wait.
The bottom one.
Yep. And you'll have something that looks similar to this.
And it's how long?
I don't know, you're tracing it.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah, that's why I give you guys tracing paper so you can make it just as it is in the book. There we go. Use a straight edge. Even if you have a really steady hand, use a straight edge.
Yeah. It's in my scroll. It's a little golf flag.
Label each of the points.
Label the point.
Oh.
You have that point A labeled and marked?
Wait, where's A? There's just S.
A is down on the, nope, it's down on the bottom right, isn't it? Or your book's missing A?
No, I got it. I got it.
Okay, good. Yeah, let me know if it doesn't look like my book, please. I buy these things on Amazon and I get all different versions of it.
From the same distributor, huh?
Well, they're from Amazon though. I'm not buying them from the University of Chicago. Because then they're like $90 a piece.
I can draw you.
Yeah. We snaked this thing through. I didn't go through the big long rigmarole and ask for $10,000 and everything.
Yeah.
I said, give me $600, I'll put new books in the kids' hands and we can do something better. And they said, okay, we'll ride with that.
It works.
All right, here's the tricky part. Take the tip of your pencil. Put it right on the point A. And move the flag. So what's the flag doing? Rotating. So that's a rotation. Now, review going back. If you rotated an object, we talked about this when we were looking at circles and 360 degrees, what have you. If you rotate counterclockwise, is that a positive or a negative?
Positive.
And then if you rotate clockwise, that's a negative rotation. Okay, so what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to set up a negative 70 degree rotation. And I'm going to walk you through how we do this. So you need a protractor, and you can use your protractor as a straight edge. And what we do is we connect.
Mr. Dagan,
Yep.
is there a way to magnify the flag on the screen so that it's bigger?
Want this one bigger?
Yes, please.
Is that bigger?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know how clear it is. All right, so we take our center of rotation, And we're gonna draw a segment from it lightly. I'm gonna choose point R. So what I've done is I've just drawn a line from A to R and then a little bit beyond. And I go beyond because the protractor needs longer segments to measure from and to. Remember how it is when you're in the book and the pictures are really little and you have to draw an extension of a side or something. You want to make sure things are long enough. So what I would like to do is I'd like to take R and rotate it with a center of rotation of point A, 70 degrees. Is it going to go counter or clockwise? If it's a negative 70. Clockwise, yeah. So what we'll do with this is take our protractor and just measure a 70-degree angle with this, the vertex of that angle at point A. So now I need to be, here we go. So I have one side of my angle drawn to point R, and I come back, I find 70 degrees.
How do we use this thing again?
Here it is. And then, if we were to,
Is that the first one, with the intersect with the point R? You missed.
say that again, please, your question?
Is the 70 degrees, line supposed to intersect with, point R?
Oh.
So,
Like what?
so the segment A to R,
Roll.
and if you think of this as a ray, this is going to be one side of my 70-degree angle that I'm drawing. And then, so I found this right here to be 70 degrees. Ooh, yeah. I'm just going to tell you, here we go, turn. Is that still too small? So I drew A to R, and then I put my protractor like so. Found 70 degrees, I marked it. So I just drew a 70-degree angle coming off the end of that flag. So if we moved R 70 degrees, it's going to lie on this segment. And it will be the same distance away from A, except along this segment. So there's where you have to get your ruler going. So I measure how far it is from A to R, and then I measure that same distance away, and I mark R prime. And then you do that with the rest of the points. They each get rotated. Each vertex of that figure gets rotated 70 degrees.
I'm so confused, man.
Can I erase this though, so it'd be hard to.
Now, you have a big old mess under what you've done, right? So you can erase or you can lightly draw your angle lines. You
How do we
lightly
do
draw
that?
them, it comes out nicer.
I don't have enough.
So good question came up. How do you do the other ones if it's not along this line? If you think of this, here's your 70-degree angle. To do point S, you're going to have to make another 70-degree angle. So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, and then for P, you're going to have a fourth 70-degree angle.
What?
Here, I'll draw the next one. So if I'm going to do from A to S, I've got to go from there. And then I'm going to go to 70 degrees here.
Isn't it weird how we have wedding different wedding?
So now my red colored or orange, how they look there, this becomes a 70-degree angle. And then point S will be the same distance.
Thing about this drawing,
My kids, my classes, that's not about the math, it's about learning how to sequence,
Yeah.
problem solve, and not getting
a long time ago. Like when we were stretching back, we all used to be like little ugly sea bugs. Did you think Earth was much more?
Did you mess up?
I need help.
Yeah, we did
So
too.
how do you find that 70 with this?
How do you use that, remember?
Yeah.
So you're gonna draw a 70-degree angle, which is gonna have its vertex at point A.
Is that for your brain?
Okay, so here we have a problem right off the bat. Your flag is so close to the corner, we can't do anything. So you gotta move your flag.
Oh no!
Oh, yeah, just draw.
Makes sense?
Just do a new one. Yeah, let me give you this. That's,
I'm doing this right.
yeah, so now you have to measure this. Where's your pencil? No, you need to bring your own pencil. Where is one?
A pencil, get my marker.
Yeah, well, you went to go get your book and everything, and you didn't grab a pencil?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Miss Marshall's got it right. We start giving detentions and we don't come to class pretty clearly. Why shouldn't I do that? My other choice is just to send you home.
You went to work like a job and you didn't have your stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like they
There would
give
be
you.
consequences.
You're a carpenter, you show up without your tools, they say, oh, here, use my tools. Oh, never. It doesn't work that way. Doctor shows up,
But tension doesn't help anything.
doesn't have his stuff for work.
I mean, the doctor usually has
Tension is
some.
very important. There has to be a
So this distance from here to here
Yeah.
must be now put on your 70-degree angle from here. Yeah, go ahead. Where's your 70-degree angle from? From there, that's a 50, it's not a 70.
Oh, there it is, sorry, yeah.
It's 48, it's not a 70.
Wow.
Go get a pencil. Okay, okay, so this is 70-degree angle, so the distance from
Avocados from Mexico.
will be,
All of those things through?
yes.
Have you had avocados from Mexico?
You never got one.
I only got a rule.
Really? Okay.
They would rather have that than, $1,000 right now.
Are they good? Avocados from Mexico.
were just rotating it because you were teaching a different section point, right?
So,
So if you were rotating the flag
it's
around
fit,
A,
it's point, and you're finding that.
you might change.
That's just gonna turn into, that's gonna turn
No.
into flag. They don't look like those buildings, that's all the time.
You're not rotating it, that's the circle around A, because that was the center point.
Okay, so there's 70. Which 70?
Well, that's up there.
No, it's 70.
Yeah, it's just a-
Yeah, but from 0 to
Did you
70.
cut all your hair off?
That's supposed to be a year.
Mommy. Yeah, it looks short in the back.
Measure from here up. Now we're going to measure an angle like this. The direction. Okay, so now, very lightly, draw that line very lightly.
So then you're up
Hold
and
your pencil
R.
up so it runs right on the edge. There you go. Very lightly.
You gotta find a Q.
Okay, now measure from A to R, and then measure that length along here and say it's R prime.
That, I guess.
I think you got it. Yeah, yours looks like a rotated. Yeah.
Right?
Are you okay?
Why didn't you ask me?
It looks like it made it.
No, I have mine.
Yeah, I don't get that.
So confused, I don't get how to get from this to what you thought. Like, I don't think I did it right, because something's not right. But I don't know what's right. Yeah. Whenever you're, when you look at yours, you look at like what do you see that? Where my point R is. And where my point X is. And, no, my A's right. My R and my S is slightly different. My R is just something I figured.
Except that we got down measure how far R was.
We were? Well, it's in the instructions.
Oh, no.
Wait, from here to here? Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know what you
Right, compass?
Yeah, they're on top.
Measuring your distances?
Well, if you could, I mean, you could have the one, but then you could just like find that one. And continue it along.
Yes, you can. Will you bring that up on Friday? I think you're like, that looks pretty good. You cannot?
I mean, it's out of my head. Oh my god. This sharp song. No, I can't remember it.
Yeah,
Summit.
I think what you did is you mixed up lines that you're moving to point two. Alright, would you do this? Some of you think you have your flag rotated, those of you that don't, give it a little bit more time on your own, see how far you can get it before you come back on Friday. And then we'll finish everything up on Friday.
Those like, there's siblings,
Yeah.
For you, if you could do some of that reflection work, that would be good. Get you caught up with that one, okay? And then we'll pick up with the rotation. What? Try to finish that flag if you can.